Oh, there's Mr. Jesse.
Oh, yeah. He's snoring. Claudine, I don't know if you can see her, is on the couch.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Jesse.
Jesse had a little doggy spa day today. He went and got a bath.
Oh, yeah.
A spa day?
Mm-hmm. He's tuckered out. Oh, you sniffing ahead?
Kind of, yeah.
Is this the first time you're opening the Toasted?
I unwrapped it right before I called you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ours is, I'm
I seen
sad.
them. Oh,
Ours
Yeah.
is,
Well, yours looks like my original.
yeah.
well, we were talking before we called you guys that I was really looking forward to the Toasted because when it comes to what the Coopers do with their little Cooper magic, with their toasting and their charring, the Toasted really seems like the way to go. They get it really hot before it bursts into flames and the char begins. It's just they get it so hot that the heat gets further into the thickness of the staves, and then as the spirit soaks in, it pulls and draws out all the sweetness and all the different flavor profiles that barrel has to offer. And so I thought, well, Toasted barrel, that's just got to be the way to go. Like, that's how you get your premium flavors, or at least your wide variety of flavors, which, I thought, well, that's just got to be the way to go. But when we posted the pictures to get everybody's feedback on the whiskey groups, people say that they've rated that third. They've rated it last out of the three that we posted, which kind of makes me think.
Yeah, that really surprised me.
Yeah, I'm surprised. It makes me think. Well, there goes my theory, and all I hear is Willem Dafoe's voice in my head saying, like, "Got another theory to go with that tie." Are you guys fans of Boondock Saints?
It's been a long
time. Yeah.
Yeah, same here. But like, I've got scenes memorized. They're tattooed in my DNA. It was a firefight.
I'm a sucker for anything double oaked, though. I mean, there's.
Yeah, I think that's it's taste is so different between each person, and there can be some astringency, or there can be that extra like oakiness or woodiness. That
some people react to tannins in a violent way. They're just like, "This is awful."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So who knows? Who knows that? I have no idea what to expect with this, but you guys have already had it.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys are almost all the way through that bottle.
We are.
Okay, how long have you had the bottle?
August 11th.
Okay, you've had it a minute.
Very specific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I journaled when we opened it.
Okay.
And wrote down some notes. So I thought it'd be fun to look back at the notes of when we first tried it.
Yeah.
To what we're experiencing tonight with you guys. So.
Well, shit. Let's get into it then.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah. Welcome, dear listener, to the Savor the Burn podcast. My name is Jonathan. Across the table from me is Mr. Wizard Fingers. W2. How do you do?
Doing well, and how about you?
I'm doing all right. And as you guys heard, and so far, we have once again Timothy and his wife Faith, also sister of W2. Thank you for being a part of the show again.
Thanks for having us
back. I wasn't sure if we'd be asked back after the last episode, but I'm honored to be here.
Yeah, we're a little iffy on Chandler. He is the best. That's the problem. He's got this star quality that outshines everybody else.
And that smile.
And that smile. It's like a three. How much did we pay him? $300. A $300 smile. Pisses me off. I don't like it.
We need to make a trip out to Kansas City and do this in person.
That'd be great. We have enough. We have enough microphones.
Yep.
We could get the fucking band back together.
Or
absolutely.
Doing it live.
Need to come to us, or we can meet in Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And go on the Bourbon Trail.
Do some hunting together.
That would be pretty damn wild.
It would be.
I'm sure my girlfriend would love it.
Yeah.
She doesn't drink, or she doesn't drink whiskey or bourbon or anything.
Somebody needs to drive.
Hey, Jennifer, got this idea. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're all gonna drink, and you're gonna drive. It's gonna be awesome. There's like six people piled inside of a little blue BMW X1. Just
it'd be great.
Fucking legs sticking out the window because there's just not enough room. Anyway, welcome to the Save the Burn podcast. Thank you for following on your podcast app of choice and following along on all of our socials: Facebook, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Instagram, Samsung. I threw that in there for shits and giggles. Yeah, what did I say? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and TikTok. We've got stuff on the ticking of the talkers. But tonight we have the Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel Bourbon.
Yes, sir.
What did you say the proof was? 94 proof? Yeah, I wrote that down right this time.
And that's a crazy thing because, and I don't know why it's crazy, but in my head I thought this has to be at least a little higher than the standard one, but no, it's the same proof as the regular small batch Elijah Craig. It's 94 proof. Still no age statement on this. Again,
well, they explained that a little bit in the last one. It's right. Aged.
Well, the small batch
specifically,
they discontinued the 12-year.
That's what it was.
And this replaced it with a no age statement, but it's an average of 8 to 12 year bourbons that are blended to taste. This one is a no age statement. I think it's probably, it doesn't say so anywhere on here, but my thinking is this is probably from the same barrels that they then put in the toasted barrels. Does that?
I would imagine so. I mean, the mash bill is exactly the same.
Yeah. Our bottle's maybe a little older than yours, but on the bottom label on the front, it does say our small batch bourbon finished in toasted new barrels.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's the same juice then.
Yeah.
So is it some kind of double oaked thing?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's exactly what that would be. Our small batch bourbon finished in toasted new oak barrels.
Yes.
Well, right. I wondered why you, Faith, I wonder why you brought that up, that you're a fan of anything double oaked.
Yes.
Right.
I wonder why you brought that up, and now I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now we know.
The bottle is essentially the same as the small batch bottle.
Absolutely.
We got the same topper on there. We've added the neck band that says Toasted Barrel, which is a nice little touch. Mm-hmm. And then the label on the front has the Toasted Barrel label, which is blue instead of the maroon.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
you still got the side label. Still got the same bottle shape and design. There's really no punt to speak of at the bottom. It's just the bottom of a bottle. So that pretty much wraps up the bottle presentation part of it. It might be a little bit of a darker wood on the stopper, but it might not be. It might just be the lighting. The spirit itself, does that look darker to you?
It does look darker.
It is a little darker, yeah.
And it should, because, once it's finished in a second barrel, it's going to pull in, more of that char.
Yeah, and the nose smells like it did for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is like the difference between, to me, my expectations walking into this were a little bit jarred because of the feedback from the socials. This is almost like the difference between the Jim Beam White Label and the Jim Beam Black Label. Oh, damn, did I just bring up Jim Beam again?
You did.
As you do.
I'm a broken record over here.
I feel like everything on the nose is just nice
Amplified.
and soft. It's amplified.
Yeah.
But the corners are kind of rounded off
the smoother.
a little bit.
Yeah.
So it.
But I get leather on this one, and I didn't on the small batch.
I can see that. A little bit of leather, a lot of caramel.
Yeah,
but
I'm picking up
nice,
like major
soft caramel.
Yeah.
Major caramel, like we tried something one point. You guys, I think you guys were a part of it. It had it's the first time I ever smelled like buttered popcorn on anything. This this kind of has a slightly buttered popcorn kind of smell. So maybe it's just butter and grain or butter and corn that I'm smelling, and it's coming. My brain's getting confused. My Sugar Creek DNA's getting confused. It's popcorn.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting the brown sugar, caramel, a little bit of wood, but like Wayne said, it's soft.
Yeah,
everything's going together very well.
This is weird, but I get cedar mulch.
Cedar mulch.
Okay. Maybe, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of different flavors. Let's get it on the palate, folks. That was a nice cling. Oh, you switched glasses.
Yeah, you switched glasses.
Yeah, we switched to Glen. Yeah.
Oakiness right off the bat.
Yeah.
That's a lot of oak. Yeah.
And the heat is subdued somehow. It's like mellowed way the hell out.
It's so chocolatey.
Super sweet.
Yep. There's definitely a lot of cocoa, that chocolate. Oh man, this is good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's delicious. Yeah, there's a little bit of that dark chocolate, a little bit of the smoke, but a lot of wood. But there's still sweetness to it. Yeah.
This reminds me a lot of those caramel filled chocolates.
Yes.
Where, you get that chocolate and then as you bite into it, the caramel just kind of takes over.
Yeah. This makes me want to pour this in one of those chocolate cups.
Yeah. Like
Chocolate
a smoke
cups?
roll-up.
Oh, so I have these chocolate cups. I'll show you.
All right.
They're literal chocolate cups.
Like a peanut butter cup without the peanut butter in the top?
No.
Sort of, yeah. Maybe a little smaller, but
like the minis?
The description says dark chocolate dessert cups, ready to fill cups.
So I pour bourbon in them.
Use them as your shot glasses.
Wow.
I mean,
yeah, so this has got like a caramel toffee sweet, just super present on the sweetness on the nose and the palate on this. And I didn't pick up on the oaky anything or cedar chips on the nose until the palate. And that's when I found the oak. But
Right.
Holy smokes, guys! To me, this is like a dessert whiskey.
This is really good.
I'm glad you like it.
Flavier has this listed at $54. What are those prices like out your way?
Well,
We overpaid again. Overpaid. I have a coworker that I was talking bourbon with a while ago, and he said his favorite is the Elijah Craig Toasted, and we haven't seen it anywhere here in Knox Vegas.
Well, we have because I just bought Wayne one.
Well, prior to that, back in 23, back in the past, we happened to be in St. Louis visiting some family, and went into a liquor store, and they had it. And they had it at $89. We had never seen it. I had been told it was the best. My coworker loved it, so we picked it up for $89.
I've seen it as much as $129.
Yeah.
We haven't since seen it at a lower price point, but it's probably in that $75 price range.
Well, I think the one that I picked up for you, was it 65?
Could have been, yeah.
It was either 60 or 60.
Yeah, I think
it
I
was
remember
somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And
I remember when I first started looking at it and kind of just looking across the Elijah Craig offerings, I saw the Toasted Barrel and I wanted to try the Toasted Barrel, but it was north of $100 for the bottle, and I wasn't quite there yet for those. And then it slowly came down, and like you said, 89 is what I saw it for a while. Even on Flavier, about a year ago, it was 89ish in that range. But just a couple days ago, as I was putting this agenda together, I looked it up on there just to kind of see what their current price was, and even this one, the standard small batch, that's where that 23 came from, which I was surprised. I was like, off of Flavier's side, I've seen it locally in stores for 25-ish. I think I've seen it for 22 is the lowest I've ever seen it.
Wow.
But I was surprised that Flavier's member price was 23 for it. And then this Toasted Barrel was only 54.
Wow, that's a great price. I'm not upset at the 80. I will never pay $89 again for it. Probably, I think it's worth every bit of that. But it was our old stomping grounds. It was our old liquor store in our old neighborhood, and there was a lot of nostalgia around it.
And then there was a lot of chaos in that liquor store. So
there is in St. Louis.
Yeah, there's memories tied to that. Yeah. So it was time and place, Yeah. No regrets at all.
Not a single letter. What was that movie? That wasn't Road Trip. What was that movie? The guy was like, "No regrets" or whatever. He had it tattooed on it, and they were on
the daughter's boyfriend, and no regrets.
No. And it said like no regrets or something. He's like, really, no Who was that?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember the movie, but I'm blanking on the name of what it was.
I'll fire up the Google machine here later. I don't want to kill the moment. You guys working on your, what's it called?
I'm trying to get to
Yeah.
it. So as Tim alluded to earlier in this episode or the previous, the notes on here say Reverend Elijah Craig is well known to be the first person to discover the delicious power of charred oak in a bourbon. This time, the Craig family stepped up the game to really claim the title, The Toast of the Town. Released this year, Toasted Barrel takes the award-winning small batch bourbon and doubles down on toastiness. Twice barreled for added complexity, and after fully matured, finished in a second custom toasted new oak barrel at full barrel proof, where it's left to develop even more sweet oak flavors. The result taste is godly. Amen to that.
Amen.
Reverend Elijah Craig.
Amen.
Whoa.
So my girlfriend Jennifer, her last name is Craig. Janet Craig. And so she's got a lot of pastors and preachers in her bloodline. So when she handed me this bottle, the first time she got it for me, this bottle of Elijah Craig, I was like, is this some kin of yours? Like, what is this? What's going on? She's like, no. I'm like, are you serious? Elijah Craig? Are you...
Is that your grandpappy?
This has to be, yeah, right, great grandpappy. It's got to be somebody in your ancestry, but that was a big nope. I know, cool story. I'm glad I told it.
Thanks for sharing.
So one of the notes that I wrote back the first time I tried this was, I want this as a candle, and this makes me so happy.
And I think that still holds true.
I think it still holds true.
6 months later or
It
whatever
does, yeah.
from the first time we tried it to today.
Yeah.
That was like the most wholesome thing I think I've heard anybody say about whiskey. I want this in a candle. It makes me happy. Gotta fuck, guys. I'm welling up. That was too sweet.
I think that's going to have to become the title.
Yeah.
I want this as a candle.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Stick around and the notes get more interesting. Like,
Oh, God, yeah.
Wayne can attest years ago when we went on a beer drinking trip and we started off taking notes at the beginning of the trip. And by the time we got to the 5th or 6th brewery, the notes were just about the French fries and the desserts at that point. Like, there was no notes about beer anymore.
True. That was back in the day, like before there was such thing as beer journals or apps or
Right.
anything like
Yep.
that. So I just had a notebook and I wrote out, I made my own beer journal and I had like nose, palate, like all these things. And yeah, we would just go out to all the breweries and
Was that the weekend that I rode in on the Amtrak? And then,
Yeah.
and then I brewery hopped my way and showed up a little schnocker. And you're trying to escort
Schnockered.
me past
Schnockered.
Schnockered. Yeah.
do you remember that brewery we went to that had the big buffalo behind the bar?
Oh, yeah.
And we went behind the bar and took pictures with it?
Yes,
Oh,
I do.
God.
That was a
Schnockered.
good
Good
time.
times. Good times. And now we've moved on to bourbon.
When I get to a level of drinking where I think schnockered is, like when I think if I'm ever schnockered, chances are there's partial nudity and a lot of belligerent activity happening.
Oh,
It's not pretty.
So when they lived in St. Louis, they worked downtown, and I rode the Amtrak in, and there are a lot of breweries. And I made a lot of stops.
yeah.
Yeah.
My train
And
got
it-
in about noon. They didn't get off work till closer to 5, and
It was a good time.
it was a great time.
Hey, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
Yeah.
There you go. I like it.
I go in early, like 5 a.m. and get off early. So
What did you guys
Yeah.
get for the nose?
I gave it a 4.25.
All right. 4 and a
And
quarter.
I cheated. I looked at my neighbor and I also wrote down a 4.25.
Okay. All right. How about you,
Cheeto.
W2?
I gave it a 4.25.
Oh.
Come on,
Now
Jonathan.
that makes me odd man out because
Damn it.
I gave it a 4.5.
Okay.
Nice.
4.5.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yep. And on the palate, I gave it a 4 3/4, 4.75.
Oh.
How about you, Mr. W2?
I gave it 4 1/4.
Holy shit, Miss
And
Faith.
Ditto. I gave it the 4 1/4 also.
4
And I gave it 4.5.
All right. The jury is split.
But not by much. It's up there. You know,
Yeah.
we're all.
Yeah,
in
we
the
like
middle.
it.
Well, Tim, what'd you give it on the finish?
I went with 4 1/4 again on the finish. It stuck around, had a nice finish, still tasting it. I like it.
I like it too. How about you, Mr. W2?
Another 4 1/4.
All right. Miss Faith?
Big surprise.
4.5?
4 1/4.
4 1/4. You people. How about bottle presentation? We didn't
4.
talk about this one at great length like we did the original, mostly because it's essentially the same bottle, but it has a neckband.
Yeah. Underneath Elijah Craig, it says toasted barrel instead of small batch. Mm-hmm. Different color on the label itself. And then, but other than that, the only distinguishing difference is it has a matching neckband trimmed in gold, which is a really nice touch. I didn't feel it added anything to make me bump it up any, so I stuck with same score of 3 3/4.
I like it. How about you, Tim?
I stuck with the 4 that I gave the small batch, and for the same reasons that Wayne said. Like I started with the 3.5 on the small batch and talked myself into the 4, and stuck with the 4. I like the bottle.
Same.
4-0?
4-0.
All right. Well, we'll start with you, Faith. What's your final score?
I gave it an 8.5.
The old 8.5.
Nice.
Mr. Tim?
I ended up with 8, and I guess that's 3/8, 8.375.
Yep. Excellent.
Very cool. Mr. W2?
8 1/4.
All right.
Nice.
Well, mine was a 9.0. I like this
Wow.
a lot more than the original Elijah Craig small batch.
Nice.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, it's always unfair to compare, but still, it was just this was great.
I feel like this is
this was really, really good.
this is a situation
Yeah.
where even though we're not necessarily comparing directly one to the other, I feel like this lineup is fair to compare because
Absolutely.
Yeah.
it's all within the family. It's all within the Elijah Craig offering. So
Yeah.
we started with the small batches is their, and I don't want to say bottom line,
Their initial
it's-
offering.
It's their entry level offering.
Entry
Right.
level. That's a good way
and
to put
then
it.
and now we've stepped it up a little bit.
I think we stepped it up a lot a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we're going with one that actually is stated our small batch bourbon finished in toasted new oak barrels. So
In your notes,
so
does it say how
literally-
long it's finished in the toasted oak barrels? I'm not seeing it.
It does not.
Do you guys feel like this drink's hotter than the small batch?
I don't.
I don't.
For me,
I do.
all the flavors were amplified, but everything was rounded off.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just amplified. Like I don't, not in a bad way, but I get more heat off of this one.
Really?
Than the first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely didn't. For me, the heat wasn't as strong, and it tapered off a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with.
I mean, it's a happy heat for sure. But
A happy heat.
Yeah, I feel like all the heat was gone.
Like that
And
candle.
everything was just
Yeah.
rounded and just.
maybe
better.
I'm just confusing happy heat with elevated,
Yeah.
like amplified.
Well, it's like when I say amplified, I mean all the flavors, not so much
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
like. Oh, well, the heat for me so far in this Savor the Burn journey, I've found that the heat can come from really just two different places: the ethanol content and,
Yeah.
and the
And
and
the
like
spice.
and the spice, like from
Yep.
the rye,
Yeah.
from the rye in the mash bill. So
Yeah, especially once you get into those rye forward
Yeah.
or rye heavy bourbons.
And for me, it can be a little bit difficult to differentiate which heat is coming through.
Right.
But
Right.
there's like a bit of a dryness that comes across the tongue, like a
Yeah.
little bit of a bitter taste
Yeah.
to it that usually for me is a dead giveaway as to which heat it is that I'm dealing with. But
Yeah, I think the dryness on this, that's that astringency that we were talking about, the oakiness that if you love it, you love it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. So I could see where that's divisive, and some people may rate it the worst of the three that we're trying tonight.
And,
but,
on the social media posts, in the comments section in Whiskey Tribe and Kansas City Whiskey Guild, I was surprised to hear, like, just about everybody say that this ranked third of the three.
Yeah.
And I fully expected it to be number one. But that was
I
me.
disagree. Yeah, I disagree.
I never
with
had
that.
it. Never had it until just now, and it was top notch.
Yeah, that summation does not make sense to me because to me, this one definitely takes a few steps forward.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's elevated for sure.
yeah.
Yep.
So I wrote down here, every taste the standard Elijah Craig has to offer, only amplified, maybe elevated would be the right words to use, and rounded smooth. A stunning bourbon that is guaranteed to satisfy. Splurge a little and share this bottle with your fellow bourbon enthusiasts. And then I wrote down the quote, I want this in a candle. It makes me happy.
Me.
Yeah.
It makes me happy.
Do you guys over there in Tennessee have any final thoughts on this one?
I think it's delicious, and I think it's a bottle we'll be replacing once we finish it.
Yep.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I think it's something that we'll definitely keep around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree with that too. I still have quite a bit left, but
The night's young.
I will be getting another bottle of that at some point.
That's good to hear, because usually I get 3 words out of your final thoughts.
I like it.
That's right. Well, I like it too. And dear listener, we think you will like it as well. So definitely get yourself out there, and if you can find it at MSRP, which is roughly around $54, grab the Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel Bourbon and enjoy the shit out of it. It's only 94 proof. Well, it's a higher proof than your standard tavern strength 80 proof. But it's not overbearingly high proof like probably the barrel strength is going to be at, 127?
Yes, sir.
But yeah, so we got 127 point something, 8, I'm guessing, going off memory.
124.8.
124.8. My memory sucks. Anyway, we'll get to that when we get to it. We'll burn that bridge when we get to it. So thank you, dear listener, for listening to this episode of the Savor the Burn podcast. Thank you, Tim. And thank you, Faith, for joining us today.
Anytime.
We're definitely glad to have you. And thank you for listening on your podcast app of choice. And definitely follow us on all socials, including YouTube. So thank you for listening. And always remember who you are, where you are, what you're drinking, and who you're drinking it with. Always remember to keep on
burning.